One more. Well, here we are. That time again. Yeah, the worst albums of 2024. As usual, you know the drill. Um, no EPs, and 10 is more than enough. So, kicking off this list is Jelly Rolls Beautifully Broken. There's nothing beautiful about this record. In fact, it's just generic fucking country gospel. Or markets itself as that, but really, it's just overplayed radio BS. I mean, why would anyone want this? I think he's overrated, and it's just simply the fact that he was overexposed. Not only that, it's just awful. But it's gonna get even more awful for this. Bon Jovi's Forever. Yeah, it took forever to listen to this pile of horse shit. But really, you used to have decent records in the 80s. But that was the 80s. Bon Jovi 2024, not so good, in fact. In fact, it just sucks. Same thing with this. Imagine Dragons Loom. Ugh. Dragons ever, and I mean ever, make a good album. Likely at this point, never. They're in it just for there because their record, once they flash them the money, ding, go create an album. Whoop-de-ding dong. Speaking of speaking of utter crap, Skillet. And I mean Skillet haven't been relevant since the late 2000s or early 2010s. And to be fair, they're even worse than I've imagined. John Cooper makes some of the most brain dead comments online and comes across as this creepy pastor. I mean, he gives off creepy pastor vibes. Yikes. There's this, and then there's this newest one from Wage War. I wanted to like this album. I did. But instead, it just comes across as radio metal. Just something never really clicked for me. In fact, it just sucks. It's more of a disappointment than it is my worst, but it's still pretty bad. Speaking of bad, we are now entering the top 5. Yeah, 6 Feet Under. When will I ever speak highly of them once again? Ever. Possibly never. This is just, yeah, sure, he's not doing anything else. But Chris Barnes sounds like a Great Dane. Chris Barnes vocally sounds like a Great Dane choking on begging strips and begging rawhide bones. Yeah, he sounds like that vocally. In other words, it's utterly shot. Jack Owen is the only saving grace. Jack Owen is the only reason why it's not number 1. Think about that for a damn second. Jack Owen is doing the heavy lifting. Then there's Katy Perry. And I've decided to add, because both are in the same year, 143 in Woman's World. We get it. You were great in the late 2000s, but your time of relevancy, Katie, is finished. In fact, it shouldn't. Why were you even relevant in the first place? And why was Russell Brand even a thing? Oh, wait. Speaking of Russell Brand, he's been exposed as a sex pest, if not a pest. Yeah, he's that awful of a person now. And now he just went in there for Jesus, and now he's just going there lying for Jesus. Yes, he's doing that. Next up, Tom McDonald's Wild Ones. Why do I have to even speak about this drivel for him? And I mean, this is absolute drivel. He's awful in every aspect. He's a grifter and a half. He's also Canada's worst export. Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, he is not. In fact, he is even worse than Justin Bieber. No thanks, Conservative Party, Canadian. You can keep him, possibly even put him in a prison. So put him in a gulag. So we won't have to hear it again. Speaking of trash acts, this one, Falling in Reverse's Popular Monster. Ugh. What can I say about this dipshit, Ronnie Radke? He's 41 years old and still acts like I'm tougher than you and all of that. I'm like, well, I'm gonna call my dad on you. Jesus Christ, grow the hell up. I mean, look at yourself, Ronnie. You're pathetic. You got the hot girlfriend who's a wrestler. And it's just atrocious what you're doing. I mean, this album, musically, it's pretty decent, but your voice on there, it's like sticking a nail in your ear, sticking a nail and hammering it in your ear. That's what it sounds like. And if anything, you act like a frat bro. I don't remember. I remember your version of Gangsta's Paradise being the absolute worst cover version of it. It sounds like three frat kids acting like they want to get loaded on beer and roll down through an inner city neighborhood on a Friday night because they're bored out of their frat house parties. Speaking of, and this is where it is, the number one worst album of 2024. Hardy and Quit. Listen, Hardy. You have made my worst album for 2 years in a row. Congratulations. Whenever you make one, it's going to be a repeat. There's just so much I want to rip onto this album. But unfortunately, I may get deleted. This live stream may get deleted from this because it is that atrocious. I mean, you were not only overexposed, There's limits on having pals in high places when you can't make up for it. When you can't make up for it with raw talent, which is something you don't have because you're a hack. That's right, a hack. Yeah, I said it. You feel better now? Good, because this album just blew ass. Thank you for not listening to these albums. I had to, so you didn't. Next up, either tomorrow or Sunday, will be my best albums of the year. Till then, Paka.